Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm filming a tanning routine. Usually Ruth and I will either spray tan using Naked Tan, or if we're doing a self-tanning mousse then we will use Loving Tan. Prior to tanning, I like to moisturize my face with my Kora products, which I will link in the down bar below. I also like to moisturize certain parts of my body, so this includes my hands and elbows, and I also get really dark around my armpits, so I moisturize there. I also get a lot of freckles around my shoulders when I tan, so I also moisturize there. And then obviously I moisturize my knees and my ankles. Next I just pull all my hair back, so I'm just putting on a headband and tying my hair into a bun. So the tan I'm using today is Loving Tan. I do really like this tan. It's the 2R Express in dark, and I use a combination of the tanning mitt and also just an old makeup brush which I use to apply in certain areas. So starting off, I use the brush to do my neck and chest because it really blends it well, and it's also easier to apply with all the little kind of corners you have to do, so such as behind your ear and like kind of pushing it into your hairline a little bit, which is, I know, is gross, but it's kind of a must do. I often use circular motions with the brush because it's pretty much like applying makeup, so you pretty much just need to buff it into your skin to make sure it's evenly spread. I can also control how much I'm putting on and like where I'm putting it. For example, I don't really like a lot around my armpit area, so I try to avoid that with the brush, whereas with the mitt, because it's so large, it's hard to avoid that area. After I press the product onto the brush, I use that for the bulk of my arm, and then I kind of use the brush to blend it down onto my wrist, and I also use the brush to, with the leftover product, I use to blend around my elbow, so that makes it kind of fade down instead of having really dark patches where you don't want them, such as your wrists or elbows or any place like that. I then use a little bit of product and put it on my hand. I start on the back of my hand, and then with the excess in the brush I use that to blend up into my fingers, and it's really good using the brush because you can really get it in between your fingers as well, so it looks more natural. So now I'm just going to the other side of my chest. Usually when I'm not filming myself tanning, I do all my chest at once, but I actually found doing half your chest at a time pretty effective, so I think either way is fine. If the tan looks a little bit patchy, or you can see like slight lines or something, don't worry about it too much. This tan does tend to do that, but after you've showered, just as long as you've obviously washed everywhere, it comes off perfect. You can tan over your armpit. I just don't like to. I don't know why. I think because I like sweat it off anyway. So if you want to do that, by all means. I just prefer to not put as much tan around my armpit so that it kind of fades into a light underneath. So once again, I'm just blending it down my arm onto my elbow and onto my wrist to make it even, and then with a little bit more tan I will do my hand. Now that I'm moving on to the legs, I'm using the mitt because obviously your leg has a wider surface area, so it's easier to use the mitt. I only like to use like 1 to 2 pumps per area, but if you want it darker, then I would definitely recommend doing more pumps per section. My foot is actually on a desk, so don't think that I'm just holding my leg in the air here. My foot is resting on a desk, and so I've just kind of twisted my leg to do the back of it. I then use the brush again to do my knee because, as I said before, it helps to blend it better and it's easier not to apply so much product, and you can get it in all the little kind of grooves of your knee, I suppose. I know my knee is really red. It's not always like that. It's just because I was kneeling before, so that's why they're red. Moving on to my feet, I kind of just apply product onto the top of my foot and then I just spread that all around onto my toes and down my ankles as well. Please excuse my toes, I know they're really ugly. And yes, my toenails are kind of yellow, actually really yellow at the moment. It's because I just took nail polish off. But yeah. Be careful not to apply too much product around the bony parts of your ankle because they tend to get really dark there. If you do, sometimes when I apply too much, I actually just get a little damp towel or something and rub over the really dark bits to kind of take a little bit of that excess tan off. I then use the mitt to do the back of my neck and kind of my shoulders, and then I get the brush afterwards and kind of redo the back of my neck, but more so just use the brush to blend it into my hairline. I know it actually is kind of bad for your hair to do that, but anyway. To do my back, I actually put the mitt on backwards, so the padded side is facing the top of my hand, and then I twist my arm like so and rub it on the back of my back. So now that I've done my body, I'm now moving on to my face, and I don't really like to use tanning mousse on my face because I find it actually gives me a lot of blackheads. Instead, I like to use this Bache face tanner, which I will link in the down bar below. And usually I'll apply this with my fingers and then you have to wash your hands, but I've actually already applied tan on my hands. This is an 8-hour cream, so it's not 2 hours. So usually I would actually tan my body and then have a shower and then apply this cream after and then maybe sleep with this cream on. But I'm just going to put it on for demonstration. So this is the end result. Now for 2 hours, I think I might go watch Pretty Little Liars or something and I'll show you the end result. So this is the result after I have showered. I don't really like a really, really dark tan because I am so pale naturally. When I put too much product on it, I just turn out really orange. So this is probably the darkest tan I will go, but if you are naturally more tan than me, then by all means apply more product and you will get a darker result. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time.